Some of the most common questions I get from new hand plane users are questions like, which plane do I need? Which plane should I buy first? Do I need more than one? Unfortunately, there's no easy one-size-fits-all answer to these questions. As you can see behind me, there are a lot of planes. Even just among the bench planes, there are differences in length and iron width. Which one of these I choose is really going to depend on the job that I want the plane to do. It's not possible to recommend a single plane that's going to be the best first plane for everyone because everyone starts from a different place. Instead, let's take a look at a few scenarios and the planes that I would recommend in those situations. Now keep in mind that these scenarios are just examples and they may not fit your situation exactly, so you're going to have to make your decisions based on your own situation. First, let's consider the person who's been woodworking for a few years, has a power jointer and planer, but wants to incorporate more handwork. For this person, I would recommend they start with a smoothing plane. Let's face it, this person is going to be doing all of their surfacing, flattening, jointing, and thicknessing with machines. They're not going to be doing that work by hand. So they're going to see the most benefit using a smoothing plane to help with the finish prep process. By using a smoothing plane, they can significantly reduce the amount of sanding or eliminate sanding altogether, reducing the amount of dust. Now, what about the person who doesn't have a power joiner but does have a thickness planer? They're going to need a hand plane for more than just smoothing surfaces prior to finishing. So for that person, I would recommend that they start with a joiner plane. Jointing edges and flattening board faces are critical tasks during just about every project. A thickness planer cannot flatten a board face and cannot edge joint. For these tasks, the joiner plane reigns supreme. Its long sole really aids in helping to make edges nice and straight and board faces nice and flat. What about the case of the woodworker who has neither a power jointer or power planer? Well, they're going to need to use hand planes to do all of their board flattening, edge jointing, edge straightening. So for them, I would recommend they start with a jack plane, but also add a joiner plane soon after. The jack plane and joiner plane aren't just different lengths. They also typically have different blade profiles. The jack plane is usually set up for quick, rough work, while the joiner plane is typically set up much finer to do smoother, finer work. While the jack plane can be set up as a joiner, its shorter length is really a disadvantage for that kind of work. And while the jointer plane can be set up to do fast, rough work, its weight will exhaust the user when used in that task. Therefore, the best solution really is to use the jack plane for the rough work and the joiner plane for the finer work. So if you can swing it, start with the jack plane and get the joiner plane soon after. So those are my recommendations based upon those three example scenarios. But again, you really need to assess your own situation and the tools you currently have in order to choose the best plane for your own personal needs.